This is nostalgic. This is an analog moment for a digital idea.
We've had a lot of comments about the set that we built here at Lightwork. So joining me today is Katie Akana, who is the set designer behind the magic that is this space. Katie, when I gave you this prompt of retro future AI morning show, what made you interpret it into all of these incredible moments from different decades, from the 50s to the 80s to today?
First of all, I was so excited thinking about what are my favorite parts of sort of mid-century references that are my favorite things, that are the most evocative and that could be the most useful for us in terms of the set. So I started with thinking about like room dividers. It's so evocative of mid-century. I just feel like you see them so much in commercial spaces and in residential, and they play really beautifully with patterns and light. My favorite part of this set is just being able to incorporate all of these little details into it. And like, what's the best way to have little details everywhere is having these shelving spaces, but with the shelving spaces, like the shelf is the set. So it's like, how can we make the shape feel like it is, both a nostalgic era, but also something that's very current.
Katie, I don't think people watching this have any idea how small this space actually is. Were you scared to make something this bold and a vision this big in a space this small?
Yes, very. But it was a fun challenge. It was a fun challenge because it is, sometimes that's the best inspiration, is dealing with limitations. And it's like, what can you do in a 12 by 12 space? It's basically building a room in a room, and which is again why I went back to the room dividers, because they're low profile, but it's a statement room piece.
I think what I love so much about the objects you chose, from the lava lamp to the vintage television monitors to the telephone, is they all kind of give me this feeling of a time when technology was, exciting and romantic in a way that I don't think you get from technology today.
Definitely. And I think that your input was the most inspiring for this, because you were just so excited. It was like, no, I don't want this to feel cold. I want this to feel warm. I want this to feel like the most optimistic forms of technology. That was a really fun brief to work with.
This show is meant to fill people in on their day and understand all the things that are happening in AI with some techno-optimism, but with a healthy dose of like, hey, this is the world we're living in and why it's moving so quickly. And I think the objects you made and chose translated to that brief. Where did you get some of this stuff? One
of the things that we were excited about was, how can we bring in the ideas and sort of like the fun of some of the portfolio companies and have like an object, a totem, something that sort of speaks to it in a really fun visual way that brings in this sort of ethos of, oh, this is just fun. This is nostalgic. This is sort of an analog moment for a digital idea. Do you know what I mean?
I know. It's like you brought each one of these companies to life in their like most vintagey, like retro future world, which is
really fun.
So hard to do. And to think of like, how do you take Skilled, which is like a cutting edge robotics company, and make it feel like it's a robot from the 60s is just incredibly magical. And I think you did such an amazing job.
I do have another addition to the set.
Oh, really?
I do.
mean, I love all of the objects. I love the TVs. I love everything. What'd you bring?
I bring you.
Oh, wow.
The French internet.
But with an iPad in it.
But with an iPad in it, and see, book.
This is incredible. So tell me about this object. Where did you get this? Where did you find it?
It is a French Minitel. France would give these out in the early 80s as free to people to encourage them to use the internet. I believe
this was the original Mistral, like the internet before internet.
Exactly. So this box was the internet in your house.
The work that it takes to remodify one of these retro televisions so that it works not just in this studio, but on our video it's a lot.
These are all the original CRTs in here. Like these haven't had their screens replaced or anything. Seeing these screens being used again is really, really fun. I mean, there is a big difference. It's not quite as crisp. It's not quite as, the depth isn't what we're used to, but it's so beautiful in its own way.
Katie, you've made sets for everywhere from SNL to Sesame Street. What was difficult about creating a set for a venture brand and somehow translating their portfolio companies into these found objects?
It wasn't that difficult because you made it so fun and accessible, and you were just like, go for it. What was great is that you really encouraged me to be like, hey, let's go for something different. Let's go for something that people haven't seen before. Let's go for just something that we love and that we think is speaking to people and speaking to what these companies are about. The only thing is having to do the research to be like, oh, what are some of these companies? What really is distilling these companies down to what we think is their, a touchstone of what could translate into an object. That was just really fun.
Yeah, I think from a bridge to Glean to Wiz, even a Snap, you somehow managed to capture their essence in a little bottle of nostalgia. What can we do to continue to push this set as we continue to build the future of Lightwork?
What's so fun about this set is that it's so versatile, and it can always be evolving. That is kind of the fun of it too, is we're not sticking to one specific look all the time. If things change, that's sort of the fun of noticing what's going on for each new show.
And kind of the theme of Lightwork, right?
Definitely.
Technology change is moving fast. If we left the set as it were every week, people would get a little bored.
Right. It's fun to see little Easter eggs. What have we added next?